Dad, is there ever just no more days? And I tried to tell him, like, yeah, when you die, that means there's no more days. And he's like, no, but like without dying, is there ever just no more days?
Welcome to Proofread, a podcast to help you read more of what you love and less of what you don't.
Welcome back to another episode of Proofread. With you, as always, I am Tyler.
And I'm Kacy.
And we are here to help you find the right reads for you. And today we're going to tell you a book that's called Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy. Charlotte McConaghy is an Australian writer. She's written a couple bestsellers. One is called Once There Were Wolves, and another one is Migration. An interesting thing about this author is that they're really interested in climate, what are sometimes called climate novels, right?
Yes.
So novels that deal with or directly engage the climate crisis or issues of climate.
Things that are happening, more fires, things melting, things getting hot.
Yeah.
Ocean disappearing.
Animal issues with the wolves one, I'm sure, right? So,
exactly.
That's kind of the theme here is I don't know if I would say adventure story, but some kind of adventure or story surrounded these kind of pressures and elements.
It's interesting that like literature is kind of
Yes, it is interesting to have people lean into this and say,
I like that too.
What are the ways that these climate pressures contribute to stories and stories that we tell?
In fiction. Yeah.
And imagine the road or the paths that like people have to take as a result. And the premise of this novel is there is what's called a seed vault. And it's on an island kind of closer to Antarctica, and it's the World Seed Vault. And it's got seeds from all over the world, all kinds, that have been stored here should those plants
be needed later.
Yeah, no longer be produced on the world. Here we go, we can replant them.
And these are real.
You know when you're out there thinking, I hope someone smarter than me is like making plans. This is what these are the people that are smarter than you making plans and collecting seeds.
Yeah, so that's the premise.
That's the premise. But the tides are rising, and this seed bank is under threat of the island that it's been on is kind of slowly disappearing.
Yeah,
the shores
it's getting soggy.
Yeah, the water's coming up. It's getting soggy. And so there is a family that lives on this island. It's a single dad, and he has his 3 children, and they're all there. And we know that grief has sent them to this island. They've lost their mother, and the dad, not knowing what to do, took a job as the lighthouse keeper on this island where he's raising his 3 children. So super isolated. And he's a very like self-reliant, like we can do it all ourselves kind of a guy, but clearly kind of dealing with this. And the novel begins with a stranger comes to town, and by that a mysterious woman washes ashore.
Washes up.
And then the mysteries begin to unravel of who this woman is, why she's there, and what is not quite right about
on this island.
On this island, right? On this wild, dark shore. So, do we need more setup than that, Case, or can we jump right to reader skip?
I think we're ready to say
so,
whether
listener,
it's a
you're like,
reader
ooh,
skip.
wild, dark shore, lighthouse keeper, rising tide, tick, 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 right? Think of that clock from Dunkirk, like the time's going. Okay, Kacy, 1, 2, 3, reader skip. 1, 2, 3, skip. Sorry, Charlotte.
I feel bad after such a great setup.
Well, and that's part of like when we were deciding about this book, I was like, sounds cool.
It sounds great.
It's
great. I love the premise.
It wants to be a psychological thriller.
Yes.
Right? And the decisions that it makes in the process of wanting to do that are odd.
They are odd. And then, and no thanks to you, didn't warn me about this, it is also has an open door romance in it.
Wanted you to just come upon that yourself.
I prefer to have a warning, which we're warning our readers so that they know. It's not that long, but it's pretty graphic.
Yeah.
And then the relationships become primary.
Yes.
And sort of weird, and then it just like zing, zing, zing at the end, everything happens and everything resolves, and there's a narcissist, and there's abuse, and it's like, okay.
So I would say what I like about this book is that there are some interesting characters.
There are interesting characters.
The characters are interesting, and the premise is interesting. And so this idea of a dad who's really, him and his wife had children young, and then there's this gap, and then they have another child, and anyway, at some point the wife passes away tragically, and this dad is heartbroken. He moves to this island to try to control his world. Like, everybody's right here with me. But also you're trying to keep your kids safe. Don't move to an island in the middle of the ocean, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the main problem for me is that Rowan, who's the woman who washes ashore, is the least interesting character. You wash up on the shore, and then she's immediately like rude and suspicious, and like her first things are like, "Who are you people? What are you doing?"
Yeah, after
What?
they
And
saved
it's like,
her life and sewed
and
her
it's
up
like
and-
the animosity which they arrive at in their relationship together makes no sense.
It
to
kind
me.
of feels forced.
Exactly. I'm like, and then even though it's like, well, she received a mysterious note from her husband who lived on the island that she should come and help him. That still isn't a reason to like
No.
freak out. I don't know. I don't understand her suspicion at all.
It's just like two rom-commers getting together to write a movie, and then they are like, don't like each other at first, but one has beautiful hair. Like, it ended up being
I like
just
how
like
upset you are
that.
about the
It's like
rom-commer's
being
hair.
so stupid. But other parts that I liked talking about the animals and
The penguins,
the penguins and
elephant seals.
And these seals have no natural fear of people, and so they were just clubbed and murdered.
Oh yeah.
You know that that's true?
well,
and you know who did that?
Not me.
Shackleton.
Oh.
That's what Shackleton did. Just a little information for our listeners.
I think the problem with this for me is, one, you have this like a sudden romance that
Yeah.
the more the rest of the story unravels, you're like, no, this makes even less sense than it did.
I didn't want it to be a romance.
Yeah,
I
there's-
wanted it to be about the kids and the seeds
It's
more.
like all of a
I
sudden
wanted
it's
it
like,
to be
I
more
keep
about
desiring
seeds.
this guy. I'm desiring her, and they like keep doing. You're like, wait, why
it
are
was
you doing that?
stupid.
You've known each other for like 2 days.
Talk more about seeds and which ones you're going to keep.
Casey
That was
wanted
the
a seed
best
book.
part. Honestly, that was the best part.
Actually, that was the interesting part. Was like
Which
the
ones to
water's
keep?
coming up. What do we keep? What do we not?
That should be the theme. And it ends up becoming just ancillary when that's the best idea. Like, do we keep these different species and just hope that everything evolves and we figure it out, or do we just keep wheat and corn? I like
Yes.
that question. That's why I halfway like this book, but
She did not trust that to be an interesting
Yes.
enough kind of thing.
so she had to add in this romance.
But then it was like she overdid it, because think about what
Yes.
happens in like a 60-page section of this
Yes.
book.
It's like
the
40
sudden
pages.
romance comes out, right?
Sudden romance.
Then you learn about accidental death. Then you learn about a physical assault and a kidnapping. Then you learn about a sexual predator and a sexual assault.
Yes.
Right?
Keep going.
And then you learn about a kidnap situation, an impending death of someone.
an
due to-
attempted murder.
And then there's an attempted murder. And then there's the sudden reveal of, okay, I know I've wooed you romantically, but I actually, spoiler, have your husband. He's not dead. He didn't leave the island. He's actually trapped in this closet and has been the whole time. The reason I trapped him in that closet, and we're spoiling the book, so don't
But it's
listen
okay.
to this.
But
right?
we
'Cause
said to skip it, so here
right?
now you know. Now you
But
get
they're
all
like,
the little.
The reason that is because he was a predator for my young teenage daughter. So
And-
just think about this. In
and
the, like,
that's like, I would say, maybe 20 pages, maybe 40, maybe 20 pages. That all happens.
Yes.
And it's kind of this slow burn interest. I'm thinking all these environmental questions, and I'm like, ooh, yeah. And then I'm like, what?
And then there's a tragic, like, can I fight hard enough to save my one true love? So, like, in this, like, 60-page stretch,
Yeah.
you have 4 deaths, right?
Yes.
5 deaths, actually. 2 of them are by accident.
Well, and
one
then
is a
6, yeah.
suicide. One is in the midst of trying to go, perpetuate the sexual assault a second time, accidentally dies. Then, in the midst of, like, a rescue of a small child, drowns.
Yeah.
And
Chooses
we
to
haven't
drown
even talked about
to
the
give your
humpback
life.
whale that
Oh,
flew
yeah.
out of
And
the
then
water
you almost
and
get
smashed
hit.
people.
Almost. But then in the last minute, it doesn't.
Yeah, Casey, I think for me it was like, if this is going to be a book about a seed bank and the decisions that made into that and what we do along those lines, and a reflection upon like our wild coasts that are leaving and some of the tough human decisions we're going to have to make, great. If this is going to be a psychological thriller, Gone Girl kind of, the climate change thing, okay. I'm not going to read that book, but okay, at least I know it. I think the problem here is it oddly tries to do both in unexpected ways. And that, I think, is what didn't work.
Yeah. I would say this to Charlotte. A little more about seeds. I would say that to her face.
Or the humpback whales.
You
or
got
the
a good
penguins.
idea there.
Like, if this is going to be a book about that,
Let it
awesome.
be.
But you just like packaged in this psychological thriller and
We don't
popped
need
it in
that.
here, and we're like,
We don't want that.
what?
There's also ghosts.
Yeah.
And they really talk and do things. And then this poor man who's like the whole thing, you think he's always going to get over and love again, and then he does love again, and then she dies. And then he's stuck again
In quick succession.
with
In
his
quick
3
succession.
kids again, going somewhere else to rebuild probably a burned place that got burned because of forest fire. Another
Yeah.
environmental.
Yeah. I'm not excited to read climate fiction because it's going to be sad inherently. Like the premise here is here are the ways that here are the pressures climate's going to cause that's going to lead to devastation. So I'm not like thrilled about that, but I was interested in
So
this
was I.
as an idea of like some of the difficult decisions we have to make, some of the
Exactly.
efforts to do it. And then it was just like,
Don't make it worse.
and then it was just like a wild.
with every bad thing in the world that ever existed.
Yeah.
Don't put it all in. Well, I have a book to read instead of this
Yes, let's
book.
talk that.
And the book that I suggest that you read is called The Overstory by Richard Powers. Have
Oh,
you
yeah,
read that?
you've mentioned
You
this.
got to read this.
No, yeah.
I thought this was going to kind of be like that, and I like that.
Yeah.
But that one is wonderful. It's more about trees, but it's similar stuff
Yeah.
and wonderfully done.
It raises a question because my guess in that is that very few people are murdered.
Very few people are murdered.
There's limited sexual assault in that, I'm going to guess.
It's very limited sexual assault. You're
so
right.
there's just a sense of like, is this the only way?
Yeah,
what
to
makes
make
me sad
something-
about this is like
You do have to
she
do
has
that.
something important she wants to say or kind of like depict something, but is the only way we can like draw them in is with this like graphic violence. I don't know. And then
Not me. It is not the way to draw me in because
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
like
I didn't like.
I
those
want to tell an
parts. That
important
ruined
story
it.
and I'm going to wrap it in a psychological thriller because that's the only way someone's going to care.
You can think more of us. You can expect more of us. Skip this
Yeah.
book. Read The Overstory by Richard Powers.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great recommendation. I need to read that.
It's a good idea.
If you do choose to read, and if you're still listening, I apologize for spoiling it. I just couldn't help myself.
We couldn't help ourselves, and we said skip. We trust you to do what we say, and if we tell you to skip it, we're going to tell you everything you need to know
Or
about
maybe
this.
there's a
She dies in the end.
Maybe there's a listener out there that's like, ooh, now I want to. Seeds I was uninterested in, but as soon as
If
you
that's
talked
what you
about like
like,
all of that
great.
death.
Great.
Yeah.
You'll get it. Content warning.
Content warning.
I feel like it's a rated R book. I feel
Oh,
like
100%.
it has a lot of
100%.
swearing. It has
Yeah.
a lot of content. It had a very graphic sex scene, I thought. For as short as
Yeah.
it was very graphic.
Yeah.
To me.
And then there's a lot of language.
Yes.
So there's a lot of language. There's that scene, and then one of the central mysteries of the tension between the father and the daughter. And I love the daughter as a character.
Oh, I
She
did
was kind
too.
of spunky. And
I love all the kids. I love their
But
relationship. There's a lot to like. I was really into it. And then I was like, ugh, I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, no,
That's what
same.
happened to me.
Yeah, it got spoiled very quickly in Secession as everyone started to die and everything. Shelf that you would put this on, Case? What's
I put this on the more about seeds, please shelf. What about you?
Yeah, I would put this on. I could see how somebody like, do you know sometimes there's the TV show that everyone's like, oh, you got to talk, you got to watch this show. And then you watch it and it's just like too heavy for you. It's got too much stuff in it, you know? That's like for me is like, oh, this is not has the content that I'm kind of looking for,
Yeah.
Shelf. I want to give you a sense of like the character development and the potential this book
Yeah,
had.
read.
There's this part where Dominic is the father and he's thinking about his wife who he's missed. And there's this lovely passage. What I miss most is not any of the things I expected. It's having someone to talk to about our children, the hilarious things they say and do, the insights with which they blow my mind, and the ways they change frequently and without mercy. I need her help to I need her to help me process and deliberate and delight in. I want to laugh with her, to be awestruck with her. I want her to look at me in wonder, acknowledging what profound creations we have made together. What I miss is having someone to look at in moments like these. Someone who understands not just the talent or cleverness of our children, but the wisdom, the immensity of feeling they hold within. Instead, I marvel at them alone.
It's so.
And
that
this
is
isn't the
so,
first-
There's
this is
beautiful
page-
writing
yeah,
in
this
it,
is page
and
130.
that's why I love that. I was still liking it here. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so good. It's so much about parenting and
Exactly.
partnership. It's a
There's-
lot about parenting.
It's a lot about parenting, a lot about partnership. And this is a feeling I feel all the time. And I
too.
would say, knock on wood here, like a fear of mine is that like I don't get to like turn and be like, oh,
Yeah,
look
that
at
would be
this
one of
thing.
the things you would miss the most.
You know, like my I was dropping my kid off to school the other day, and he's 5, and he says this, and it was like so profound to me. But he just goes, "Dad, is there ever no more days?" And I go, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Is there ever just no more days?" And I'm like, "Oh, I guess so." Like, and I tried to tell him like, "Yeah, when you die, that means there's no more days." And he's like, No, but like without dying. Is there ever just no more days? And it was like this profound thing. And then I
It's
just had to
so
tell my wife.
profound.
And my wife is like there with me on just
Exactly.
like, how did we make a creature that is this curious
so
and interesting?
precious and
yeah, exactly.
interesting. Yeah, and you share
And
that.
that is something we share. And in the first 130 pages of this book, I thought this would be a read for sure.
Me too.
Because there's passages like this. And then it just totally unexpectedly goes off the rails. And not in a pleasant like, ooh, didn't see that twist coming. Because it's like death, 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 other thing, death, right? So
there is nice writing. There's some beautiful things
yes,
in it.
and
That's why
I think Charlotte McConaghy is a good writer from what
for
I've
sure.
read here.
Yeah.
I just think this book lost its way in ways that aren't redeemable for the book.
Agree.
So, Charlotte McConaghy, we appreciate Wild Dark Shore, but for now, it's a skip.
Yes, and you've been proofread.
You've been proofread. Sorry, Jeff, we're still decomposing.
Decompressing or decomposing?
He's both.
Worried I had to come in here.
Proofread is a production of BYU Radio and is produced by Jeff Simpson with help from Erica Price, Becca Hurley, and Lisa Valentine Clark. Find us on YouTube at Proofread Podcast for video clips and more. And please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for spending your time with us today, and happy reading.